Okay, cool. All right.
Hey,
Awesome.
Alec.
Alec Newmeyer.
There he is.
Hello, hello.
How you doing, Alec?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good,
Good to see
good.
you in the meeting. Yep.
All right. Who has wins? Does anybody have any wins to share from successes over the last week?
I've got one.
Josh, my friend Josh Blakely. What's up, brother? It's good to
So
see
I'm
you.
just in the middle of eating lunch. Good to see you
Yeah.
too. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Um, I had a win this week. A client sign up for website build and SEO, and the our contact started mid 2021, but I've just kept him on my email list. We've chatted a number of times through there. He got massively burnt by another marketing agency, and just by staying in his world over the last 2 weeks, we just kind of led to him deciding to work with us. So it's just a really cool experience of just being around in someone's world and just not knowing what the possibilities were in terms of like future working together. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
It's awesome, man. It's always great to get those like those ones that take a while and it makes you realize that the effort in this kind of like ongoing communication is all worth it. The thing is when people want to buy from us or people buy from us, they have to know, like, and trust us, right? And that process can take a while. It can take longer for some people. So most people don't come in and they're like, okay, I want to spend a bunch of money on every month with a stranger. That's not their attitude. It takes this like kind of convincing. And when they see you show up over time, then you can build that trust. You can build the fact that they like you. They know that like, hey, this is somebody who's always here. He's always doing this stuff, right? So that's great, man. That's great, Josh, to hear that. It's fantastic.
Thanks.
Excellent. Who else has wins to share?
I could share one.
Alec. Yeah, what do you got, man?
So I niched down and I got verbal and onboarding form on first niche down customer, which is pretty cool from the 555 on Facebook. And he hasn't paid me yet, so it's not 100% in until the money
Yeah.
clears. But pretty cool. Yeah, it was yeah,
Tell us
pretty.
again what the 555 is, Alec. I know we talked about it, but maybe other people don't know what that means.
Oh yeah. So well, I was on a call in here a couple weeks ago, and your advice to me, Patrick, was that I needed to be spending that I wasn't spending a high enough percentage of my day on sales. And one thing that I should be doing at a minimum is positioning myself as an authority on Facebook and getting in the community. So 5 friend requests, 5 public comments, and 5 private messages every day. And now I can do the friend requests and the messages in like 15 minutes. It's so fast, so easy. But the comments, man, that is I haven't figured out how to do that quickly yet. But I very very quickly have connected to like big influencers in my niche, people who have podcasts, people who would probably be competitors, but there may be like a cross sell partnership opportunity. Um, Educators, people teaching, also just a lot of businesses. Like I've just been reaching out to businesses and saying that I want to see their stuff pop up in my feed, and everyone's been willing to accept my friend request that I know of, and it's been going super well. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
So
So
it
yeah,
kind of feels like this led to a probable close, like you got a verbal commitment in this, and but you this came from those efforts, right? Just by spending 15 or 20 minutes a day trying to make some of these connections, it's already led to this over in the course of a couple weeks.
Yeah, I'd say probably like in the course of a couple of weeks, I got two or three people interested. Um, Pretty quick, pretty dang quick, and I haven't even started like ramping those efforts up because I had some other stuff pop up that took up my time that I really wasn't expecting. But yeah, I was pretty impressed with it, and now I'm like, I have a business partner. I've been hounding him. I was like, dude, even though you're the technical guy, if you can't 555, you're worthless. Like, get out there. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so crazy how the results just follow action so quickly, and even minimal action. Imagine instead of doing like 5-5-5, if you were doing like 20-20-20, right? Or like you pair this with you're creating content, you've got a Facebook group, you're launching stuff into the Facebook group for these people. What will that turn into? The positioning is fantastic. That's awesome, Alec. It's always great to see you win, man.
Alec, I'll do 5-5-5 with you.
We got a partner.
I have no problem.
I'll hold you
reaching
to
out.
it.
All right.
I'll hold you to it.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get a little script going and we'll go to town. We'll start
send you one.
tomorrow. Okay.
I'll send you one. Good.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay.
Count me in. I'm starting to do it as well.
Look at this. This is just
Yeah.
beautiful.
So
Just like everything coming together.
I do have a question, Patrick.
Sure.
I've been finding I've listened to both your videos that you sent me from last week. And it seems as though the remodelers and subcontractors are probably one of the best sources of leads out there. Am I correct?
Well, I do like those niches. I think those are great. I prefer things that have a higher ticket, and those certainly hit that bill. I've seen people be successful in all sorts of different niches, though, to be honest. Like, I think some are going to be easier than others. Like, imagine, like, how hard is it to start let's just like take a step back. How hard is it to start like a carpet cleaning company? Like, what do we need? We need like a van and a vacuum. We could probably rent the vacuum from Home Depot, right? And so when the business is easy to start, there's more of them. And like when the average ticket cost is lower, the value that we provide to our clients is lower, right? Like if I'm sending them leads that are worth like a kitchen remodel, let's say an average kitchen remodel is worth like $35,000, right? Versus an average carpet cleaning is $250. There's going to be more carpet cleaning requests, but that's a more competitive market to get a less valuable lead, right? So that's why I favor that type of thing. Does that make sense, Greg?
So you're saying go after the lower fruit on the tree versus aiming higher? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that like if we can pick a market that is less competitive and the leads are more valuable, such as like remodeling, like it's going to be less competitive than carpet cleaning because remodeling is harder to start a remodeling company, right? It's harder to start one of those companies. Just like compare carpet cleanings versus like companies that launch rockets into outer space.
Well, what
Right.
about if they're already established though? Going after established remodeling companies.
Well, I think whether they're established or not is I think that's like maybe beside the point a little bit. I would say like which ones are we going to be able to have a bigger impact on, and is like if I want to charge $5,000 to a client per month, and the carpet cleaning company is charging $200 per job, like how many jobs do they have to complete on a monthly basis to be able to afford $5,000 a month? Whereas like how many remodeling jobs do they have to complete, right? Where it's like they complete one job that could probably pay for my salary for several months.
Right. Okay.
So more valuable, the more valuable ticket, the higher ticket stuff, like then we can demand more because we're giving a more valuable lead. And simultaneously, if we look at the market as a whole, so say I look at like Chicago, right? How many carpet companies are in Chicago? How many remodeling companies? There's going to be more carpet cleaning because it's an easier business to start. So the competition is higher for a niche that has less value at the same time. So that's kind of like how I think about it, right? For things that are harder businesses to start, they create less competition. Usually harder businesses to start, the value of the leads is higher. So they'll be more established. Like you don't go out and start some people go out and start a remodeling company, but if it's an established remodeling company, they're probably going to have like, hey, this is our cabinets team and our countertop team, and they've got all this stuff set up. They've got systems in place. They got somebody answering the phone. Where the carpet cleaner, I'm relying on this guy. He's over there, vacuuming, and he's like answering the phone in the middle of vacuuming, and like maybe he doesn't hear it. He misses my call. how valuable are my leads to him? Like he's missing all the calls, right? Does that make sense, Greg?
Yes and no. Only because with the remodeling, with remodeling, I mean, I had a remodeling company, and I hired Angie's List, and then there was Ohm Connections, and I was in competition with 5 other contractors for the
Yeah.
same lead.
That's
And
Angie's. Yeah, that's
yeah,
awful. Yeah,
if
that's like,
if I can go ahead and basically give somebody an exclusive in like 2 or 3 zip codes, it would seem to me that it would be a no-brainer for that guy to try me out.
100%. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Greg, is like, this is the advantage that we'll have over. So there's kind of like 2 directions you can go here. Like one is you can be lead generation, and Google has done some things to make that a little bit harder. So lead generation, let's define that a little bit. So we'll build a website and we own the website and we rank that website in the search engines and we own the leads. And then we let the guy try it out for free. That's like that lead generation rank and rent. This works really well. You just have to jump through some extra hoops. There could be some complications with this. The second thing is SEO services. You go to like an existing client and you don't own their site. You just help their site and you do the same exact stuff that you would do on your own, but you do it for them, right? In either scenario, if you're creating more business for them, it's like, it makes a lot of sense. And from having a remodeling, if you had this remodeling company and I said, hey, Greg, you got to pay me $2,000 a month. And from what I send over to you, whether it's through your website or one I create, you close 3 kitchens per month and you're paying me what, $2,000 a month? Do you want to continue to do this?
If it's making me money, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's say we're closing these jobs where we'll say on the lower side, we'll close them for $20,000. So you spend $2,000, but you make $60,000 in additional revenue. And maybe like that's an extra $20,000 in additional profit. So you're getting 10 to 1 on your money because you spent 2,000 and you got 20,000 in profit. Like if there's a vending machine where I could put in $1 and get out $10, I would play this game all day long. Let's go. Right. That's the situation we want to put our clients in, where we're like, it's mutually beneficial. And if we believe in this, then the sales process gets way easier because it's like, Greg, I know I can help you. I know I can help you. I just got to get you to believe what I can do is actually true. Right. And when we do that, it's just like, it's this amazing partnership. So that's exactly how we set it up in our agency.
Okay. So let me ask you, you mentioned that the website is ours and basically the leads are ours until we give it to them. So we have clients that'll go and agree to that and they'll pay for that.
There's some pieces here. Let me, I'm going to share my screen in just a second. I need to, let me get a new tab here, so I don't expose all the secrets of the universe that I have right here. Give me 1 second here, Greg. I've lost the Zoom. Computer's being weird. Got it back. Sharing screens. Ooh, whiteboard. That sounds exactly like what I need. Let's try that out. I don't know what this is going to look like. Can you guys see my whiteboard here?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this will work. All right. So there's 2 different models here, right? We got one model that is lead gen, is what it's often referred to, lead generation. So in this model, we own the website.
Okay.
Right. Sorry, I'm a whiteboard rookie and I don't see how I can.
I think we get it. No
There we
problem.
go.
Okay.
Okay. All right. The other model is this one where it's like SEO or client services, right? So this is where we don't own the website. So Greg, if I wanted to pitch you, and let's say you have that remodeling company and I come to you and say, hey, Greg, this is what I want to do is I want to, I like, there's a couple different scenarios here for this lead generation. If I have already on my own time, I've already gone out and I built a website in lead generation, and I come to you and I say, hey, Greg, I've got this website that I've built, and it's in Greg, what city are you in?
I'm in Delaware, Selbyville, Delaware.
Okay. I don't know any Dover. Dover's in Delaware, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got this, and imagine that you're like in Dover and this is your area. I've got this website in remodeling in Dover, and I built this, and I've got calls coming in, and I'm not a remodeling company, but I have these calls and I don't do this work. I would love for you to try it out. And I'll tell you what, why don't you take this stuff for the next 10 days, Greg? And if you close anything, you just keep it. Don't worry about it. And then we'll talk in like a week or two, and we'll see if this makes sense. And during that 10 days, I send you over 10 calls. You go out on 6 estimates, and 2 of those turn into jobs, right? And maybe this is like an extra like $10,000. And then I'm like, hey, Greg, I have a recording of all the calls because we're using LeadSnap, and the calls are recorded. The forms are submitted in there. So I have all this information, and I say, hey, Greg, these are the people that sent over. And you're like, yeah, we actually closed a couple of these. Oh, that's great, Greg. And now you know that this is real, and you know that I can deliver, and that it's not this Angie's Lead nonsense that's being shared 5 or 7 times or whatever, right? Do you want to continue to receive these leads? If so, let's come up with a deal, right? It's going to be $2,000 a month or $3,000, right? So as a remodeler, Greg, if that were the scenario that had played out ahead of you, would you want to continue?
Absolutely.
So that's how we sell that lead generation, right? That's one way to do it. Now, the other way that you can do this, and this is a little bit harder sale, is say, Greg, what we do is we put in a lot of work, and we build these sites out, and we can build one out in Dover. And what I would do in this scenario is I would try to get you on a Zoom call, and I would show you, Greg, let me show you. This is how we did it over here in this other city. This is how we did it in Boston. Here's our site. Here's the rankings. Here's the calls. Maybe I even play back one of those calls for you. And then I say, Greg, here's how we did it over here in Pittsburgh, right? And I'm showing you all these different cities that we've done this remodeling. And maybe I share some testimonials with you. I say, Greg, this is the way it works. We take a startup fee. Startup fee is $2,000. We're going to go into the red to build this stuff out for you, but we want you to have some skin in the game. I don't want to put in all this work and effort and not know if you're going to be legit, if you're going to be, and it's totally cool if this isn't for you, but this is how we do it. And this is how we've done it for these other businesses. You can see what is the value of all these leads that are coming in these other cities. And I'm able to show you this evidence. You don't pay us anything else after this startup fee until we have leads coming in. And then you and I will come up with an amount that is a good return on investment for you. And it's positive for me. Right? Does that seem like, so that's the way that we could potentially sell lead generation without having the results coming in. Does that make sense, Greg?
Yes. The only question I have is this. Are we going to be tweaking their website in the process? Because we have the analyzer.
Right. So here's what I would do. I would do this, and I would do this. So this is what we're doing for most of our clients, right? We're going to work on your website. And if I get them to like, hey, if I'm doing this one, then I'm charging them a monthly fee because the work starts now and I don't own anything, right? So I need to get paid for my hourly, essentially. I need to get paid for my work. I'm going to put them on a retainer 10 out of 10 times. I'm not going to do work where I don't have a monthly retainer because otherwise I'm just essentially trading my time for money, right? Whereas this, I will be doing some work, but I'll have recurring money. So I like the results that come in, I'll be able to leverage them. If I close them on this, I will build this out on my own, and I will come to them. I may come to them at some time in the future and be like, hey, we have another remodeling site that we built out. It's bringing in these leads. Are you interested in these? Here is a sample. We can have some of that same kind of like lead generation sales conversation that we had, right? But they already trust me. They already know. And then I've got additional leads. We know that they're in that. We know they're in that industry. We know they're in that business. Like they're going to take it 10 out of 10 times, right? Because I built it for them. They like, I asked them like, on bathrooms and kitchens. Okay. And I build this site that's in their service area. That's bathrooms and kitchens, right? When I stack those two things up, this is how we get, larger amounts of money from some of these people.
Okay. Okay. I got it. Very good. Okay. I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
That
You're
was,
welcome.
that was, you clarified it. Thank you. Okay.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Okay.
Yep. All right. Questions. What other questions we got out there? I see Mr. B. Waddle. I see part of Brian's face. What's up, Brian Waddle? How you doing, brother?
Doing good, Patrick. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'll be honest. I'm pretty good.
What?
I woke up this morning and my wife got me a cold plunge for my birthday. So it's like, what is this? I like the cold plunge. This is like, what is this gift though? This is like, you've brought me a way that I can torture myself for, 3 to 12 minutes a day. But hey,
Exactly.
it'll make me healthier, keep me younger. Yeah. Brian, you had a win, right? You made a sale?
Yeah, I closed a client yesterday, and I think I've got another client I'm going to close on Friday. Looks pretty promising. I just ran a small Facebook ad starting Friday, and I've gotten a few calls off of it.
Brian, don't take all the clients. Leave some for us, all right?
I'll try to.
What did you include?
But
in your
these are
Facebook ad?
recurring. By the way, these are recurring clients, not the hey, I'm going to put up a lead gen in a few months and you'll start paying then. So
Yeah. Yeah, you're bringing them in from the beginning, right? So Brian's in our coaching program. So he's doing a lot of the strategies, like combining these things together. Brian, are you going to build lead gen for them too, or are you're going to do client services?
we're going to do their, build up their site to be the lead gen site.
Okay.
And also he's going to add he's also adding in Google ad in 4 cities. We'll be starting that in the middle part of February.
Excellent. Excellent. So then you're going to charge a management fee for that and put the ad spend
Correct.
on. Yeah. That's fantastic. So I'll share a win. So far since January 1st in our agency, we've closed about $20,000 in monthly recurring revenue, right? So we've been running ads. It's been really successful. We got a referral. That was a big account, but you guys, this is a tremendous time. If you get your positioning in the right place, like the pipeline's in the right place, then the fulfillment part can be paid for by the revenue coming in, right? So we brought in $20,000 in monthly recurring revenue since January 1st. And I've hired 2 people this week. Like we did the interviews last week. We kind of saw what was going on. I put myself back in the agency. We have a big push towards growing our agency. We're having success with it. I need fulfillment. It's not hard to solve fulfillment if you have revenue. Like people will take your money. All the services that you need to do to deliver to your clients, those exist everywhere, all over the place out here. We can easily find people. If you don't have money, you can't hire those people. But once you have money, we can hire somebody that can do a good job. Over time, what we can do is we can bring some of that stuff in-house and maybe have like a more controlled version of it. We can still be profitable by just like subcontracting it out, right? So just talking to Greg, right? So I imagine when you were running your remodeling company, you were probably not doing all the work. If this person needs plumbing, maybe there's a plumber that I contract with, or this guy does countertops. I'm going to go purchase this here. That's how
I
business
subbed everything out.
Yeah, 100%. You knew the exact same thing in agency. Like you can do the same thing. So for those of you guys that are sitting out there that are like, shit, I can't go and sell because I don't know how to do this other piece. Well, just sell. And then you could come to me or this community and be like, hey, I need this piece. Right. And then we can align you with that person. If you're not selling, you don't have the ability to go and hire for that piece. The hard part is this. Once you have this, like, how do we turn this into a system that is going to be a pipeline that's producing and producing? And then how do we add another pipeline and another one and another one, right? You get 6 or 7 of these things in here, you're going to have a 7-figure agency, multi-7-figure agency. If you're like, let's say you're running just like a strictly client services, and you're going to have a profit margin of about 35 to 40, let's say 30 to 40%, depending on like how buttoned up your processes are. Running a multi-7-figure agency, right? So let's say that you're bringing in $160,000 a month in revenue, right? And you're at 30 to 40%, we'll say 30% profit, right? So that's going to be $48,000 left over for you at the end of the month, right? With people doing all the other stuff, right? This is the
Nothing
beauty
to
of the
laugh
digital
at.
marketing
Yeah.
agency,
Right.
right? This is possible, guys. It starts with sales. It starts with pipelines. I've said this before. I'll say it again. When you have money coming in to the company, you can solve who, not how problems. That's what that creates. Who can do this? Not how do I do this? I don't want to learn how to do that stuff. Like I could go and install a light switch, but I would prefer to like pay an electrician to come here and do that because I can go over here and focus on sales and maybe I can close more of these deals, right? So that's how we got to think about things in this agency world. All right.
Do we have a flow chart on how everything is supposed to flow through the whole sales process? Because it would help me a great deal if we had like some sort of a sales process from contacting the customer all the way to finishing up and closing the deal to how, the deal is basically in process till the end.
Yeah. Right. Well, I don't know if we've
No.
prepared like a flow chart of that. We do
Yes.
have built into LeadSnap. We do have a pipeline system, right? And I'll kind of like take you through this. Let me just get this kind of set up here. Okay. I'm going to share my screen again, Greg. And Aiden, I see your hand up. I'll get to you in just 1 second, brother. All right. Can you guys, man, why does that Zoom window always just vanish? There we go. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is where we can set up pipelines, right? So I could go in here. You see, there's like this lead nurturing pipeline. It's got 7 stages. I can make a new pipeline with whatever stages I want. Okay. And then as I create deals, I can move them. So we'll call this the Greg deal, right? And we'll put you in this new lead. Okay. Oh, it wants me to associate it with the company. Okay, cool. All right. So I could have it set up like this, where I have these different stages with these people in these stages, and I can move them through, and these can kick off automations, right? So I could look, there's one for Jordan, right? So whatever stage we want, you could use this. Once you know your process, this can help you track, and you can calculate your pipeline value at different stages. And like this could be, if it goes here, maybe I send them like the welcome email with the onboarding survey, right? And we could track it this way. As far as like a pipeline of what we should do, we could create something like that. We could build that into one of these calls of like, here it is from like prospect to qualified lead to we've done a strategy call to like, I don't know if you guys use proposals. We try to avoid using proposals in our agency. We try to close them on the Zoom call. And then maybe the next step is like pending payment or waiting for payment. You could set that up however you need to though.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Are you clear on that, Greg?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Mr. Aiden Carey, what's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
I am well.
So, Greg, thanks for asking that question because I actually wanted to ask how that would work with the Facebook group Prospecting 555 we were talking about. I'm starting to experiment with that, and how would that work? Like, what comments should you like and comment? Who should you be sending friend requests to? How would that work going into their DMs and hooking them? Like, how does that work with that method?
Yeah. So one thing, Aiden, I would say is I can kind of see how your brain works. It's very analytical, and we don't want to like make the wrong step along the way, right? And I would encourage you to fight your instincts to analyze this. What is important is like action. I'll tell you a story about these 4 little girls, right? They're on different sides of the street, and they decide they're going to run this lemonade stand. And on this side, these girls, they just start selling the first day, and they don't worry about having like the perfect concoction, and cars are stopping by and purchasing and driving away. Over here, these girls have set up a laboratory and they're doing taste testing and they're doing all this different stuff. They're counting the calories and they haven't even started selling yet, right? I would say, like, let's be the girls on this side of the street. Let's just take action and see what works. You're going to learn the most from that. Don't worry about being critical on yourself about the right comment. Just like Alec did, make comments, get the conversations flowing, and you're going to learn along the way. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you're giving them value before you ask for something. So if you just get them into a conversation and then you try to take them to like a Zoom call, you're probably going to get a lot of people that start ghosting you. But if you start to ask questions and you're like, hey, you're running this company, where have you been? How long you been in business? And then at that point, what if I come over and I do like a heat map audit and I just make some suggestions that, like, hey, I just noticed this. You've got some reviews in here that need a reply. This is how you can do it. Or like, just demonstrate the fact that you have expertise while helping them, and you will foster a better relationship that will lead to them asking you for help on things, right? But it starts with, like, if you just start selling the lemonade from the beginning, now we've got some opportunities, right? And we get momentum. Like, the thing is, get momentum, get your foot in the game as soon as possible, right? Like, what if you started today? Like, what does that look like, right? Or as soon as this call is over, right? Like, how do we go faster? Because honestly, the learning is going to happen by doing it. Like, we can go and study stuff, but the learning is, you're going to learn so much faster when you get out there the first time, right? I can like go and watch YouTube videos on how to throw a football and like watch the quarterbacks and like hear strategies. But the first time I go out there and I throw it in the yard, I'm like, oh, okay, that's like, I didn't expect the ball to feel that way or whatever,
Yeah. I mean, I can tell you one thing that I did that I think is going to be really helpful. And I literally have just one member. Started this last week. I started a private Facebook group, like Concrete Marketing Hub or something. So I think that's probably going to be very helpful for me as well. So people, my prospects, can join my private group and then go from there. So
yeah, I would be inviting them too. And then I would be adding content into the group on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
That's like helping them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. We have any other questions? Man, this office is really hot. I have to turn this fan on. I'm starting to sweat over here. And I don't think I have a very nice shirt on, so I'm not taking the sweatshirt off. All right. So who else questions? Anything else? We see Ology on there. Look at Janeri over there with that beautiful shirt. What is that company? Wow, Lead Snap. That's amazing. You must be important.
Yeah, I love this shirt.
Yeah, it's comfy, right?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I just came from a nice walk. It's been so cold. I don't know in your side of the Florida, but it's been too nippy to take some walks. So
man, it's nice over here.
Yeah,
I'm a little south of you though.
Yeah,
Let's see.
now it's like 80s during this week. We're gonna get a little bit of a dip this weekend, but finally took my mom out, take a walk so she can get out the house a little bit because that's good for you. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Are you excited for the event next week?
I can't wait. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, what am I wearing? Like, just being such a woman.
What are you most excited for?
I love that this time is about sales overall, which I think it's going to help so much. And mind it, like I said, I'm decent at sales, but so much for me to learn. And then just connecting with everybody, and the mansion is so cool. So just everything overall.
Awesome. Yeah. Sales and prospecting. And prospecting. Trying to get more clients. Anybody that wants to get more clients, that likes what we're talking about here, guys, we set it up. We had a number of people. I know there's new people getting started. So what we decided to do is let's come up with some payment plans. So if you guys are interested in coming, but your money's funny right now, we've tried to set something up for you guys. So just reach out to Jeff Howe over there, right there, guy right there. Yeah. Jeffrey sitting in this room over there. Reach out to Jeff right now, and we'll get you guys processed on a payment plan. I've seen a lot of people that have come to our events, and more profit has come because of being at the event. That's what I've heard a number of times. So the idea is that this thing pays for itself with the value that you get. Some of the stuff we're doing is going to be to try to help you set these pieces up for your business in here? How do we close more deals, right? Because I believe this is where it starts. Like I said earlier, if we can land clients, then we have the money to handle the fulfillment. But it's hard to get all these other pieces, because if you don't do it in that order, it's like, okay, I've got to learn how to build a website. I've got to learn how to rank a website. I got to do all these different things before I can even start. And then I'm going to do all this stuff, and then I'm going to come back to it. Whereas if we just focus on sales and prospecting and sales from the beginning, then hey, we can fill this other stuff in with people that are experts in it right away. Okay, cool. So I
Patrick,
don't know what.
how do we
No,
get
what's
one of
up,
these-
Edwin? How are you, brother?
Good, good. How do we get one of these Lead Snap t-shirts?
Lead Snap t-shirts. We can set you up with them. We have big boxes of swag for anyone that comes to the event. We swag them out. That's where I believe that's where Miss Janary Canary received hers. But yeah, we can order. You can order one through Jeff as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Edwin, do you have a subscription
A subscription for
Lead
yours?
Snap?
No, not yet.
Okay. We'll like where's your business at? You've got multiple clients, right?
No, I pivoted. Everything is, I don't have SEO clients anymore, so I had like 10 GMBs for plumbing, and so now I partnered up with an actual plumber, and we're 50-50. So
Oh, that's
I-
cool.
yeah, so I just get the calls, send it to him. He does the job. We split the profit.
That sounds like a great deal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm
well-
just trying to put more GMBs and ranking more, just to.
How are you optimizing and measuring the rankings of your GMBs?
Right now, I'm not doing much. I'll be honest. I'm just dropping reviews and asking, creating a website. I'm not doing much, and the calls are coming. So I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a lot of need here. So
Well, that's definitely good. Do you mind sharing the name of this? Can we take a look at it? One of your GMBs?
yes, let me put it here. Where do you want it to?
If you just tell it to me, I can find it.
Cedar, okay. Cedar Park Plumbers. If you put Cedar Park Plumbers.
Okay, let me share my screen and we'll walk through this. And then if I don't see any questions, so I'm gonna go to Edwin here, and if I don't see any other questions come in, can you see my screen? Do you see Google Maps?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So we got Cedar Park plumbing. Is that it?
Plumbers. No, plumbers.
Plumbers.
Yeah, because there's
Oh,
another.
that's probably it right
the
there, right?
46, the one with 46, that one. Mhm.
Yeah, this is probably ranking pretty well. I see 46 reviews here, although
Mhm.
plumbing can be more challenging. So you're in just north of Austin, it looks like.
Uh-huh.
So I can come in here and I can say Cedar Park plumbers right here. The reason I can do it here is because the address is showing. So if the address is showing, then we can just find it from within here. And then I can do a search right here for like plumbing company, plumber.
Plumber near me is the best one.
Sometimes the search doesn't work as well with near me. It can
Okay.
confuse it. So I'm just gonna leave that one off for this. Are you targeting other things like I imagine one of the most profitable jobs for a plumber that's quick, like profit per hour, is going to be like hot water heater replacement, right?
Mm-hmm. 700
So-
bucks.
What's that?
700 to 900 bucks, depending on the water heater, the labor. Just
Can I have
labor.
you come to my house in Vegas? Because they just quoted us $2,000.
Yeah, but maybe with the unit, right? They provide the unit.
Probably. I don't know. It was in one of our rental houses, but okay. So this area right here, we've got it drawn around Cedar Park, right? And I don't know, we added this feature a little while ago. We can add in the circle, or if you want to, you can draw this, and we could say, show me, I'll put one here. Show me what it looks like in this area, right? So I'll just move this over because I think Cedar Park is more up here. I actually used to live not too far from here, Edwin. I lived in Round Rock, Georgetown border right there. So does this look like the area that we're targeting?
Yeah,
This will
but you're going back. You getting a little bit of Leander and Round Rock, and I'm just targeting the Cedar Park. Cedar Park is very tiny. It's very
yeah.
tiny.
Okay, I'll make it smaller.
Yeah.
I'm looking for, oh, it's right here. Okay.
Yep.
Right?
Very tiny. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the pros and cons. Edwin is like, hey, our rankings will be better if we choose a smaller area that's right next to our location, because our rankings are going to be the best next to our location. But if we want to grow this and we want to get more work, we need to expand this into other areas, right? Like, how do we get a location in Red Rock, and how do we get one maybe in North Austin? Because if you're getting 50% of every job, how do we get more lines in the water, right? There's a lot of strategies that you can do, but let's go ahead and we'll go with these three. And obviously with plumbing, I mean, there could be hundreds of keywords that we'll target, right? So I've clicked on start here. We've got this thing rocking. It should be done in just a couple minutes. It looks like you've got some good rankings for plumbing company, which is good. Like, you can kind of see it's filling in across the map. And this is why you've got some leads coming in. Once you know this information though, and this is where, like, hey, if you put the right strategies in here, like a couple calls a month is going to pay for the subscription to LeadSnap, right? Or
customer.
like
A customer.
What's that?
A customer is calling.
Hey, I'm on a call right now, man. So we see all the rankings. Once we have this, we can start to put strategies to improve it. You've already got a client in here, Edwin. Looks like Edwin took the call, but you can play this back. But we can go through and we can look and say, okay, we need to improve our rankings over here in this like southwest part of town or the south part. So what if we mention some of this stuff on our website, right? What if we start to mention Walden Park and Melbourne Park and whatever this is? I can't read what that says. Deer Creek Ranch, right? We could target specifically, once we know this information, we can target exactly where we want to improve our rankings. It looks like we're not ranking very well in this northwest area here. And we chose a small part of town. If I were to pull this out all the way across Austin, like, I'm sure the rankings would continue to drop as we got further away from the center point. So each one of those, especially if you're on a 50-50 profit split, which is fantastic, there's a ton of money that could be tied to this. So we can look here too. That was for plumbing companies. And then we've got Plumber Cedar Park. Let's look at that one. This one maybe still is running. Now it's completed. He's ranking really well for that city, which is fantastic. Edwin's clearly done some things correctly. And then we have this hot water heater replacement, which we know is one of the most profitable services. No rankings on that one. So now that we know that, we could go to the website, right? I could open this up. I could find this website here. Cedar Park Plumbers. We see what's on here. Here's water heaters. We could look through this. It looks like he's done a good amount of content. Maybe we need to build some links to this. Maybe we need to, what I always do is I'll go like this. So I'm selecting all the words, and then I'll just do a search for word count. Looks like he probably has a good amount of content on here. 628 words. I'd probably like beef that up to, 1,000 to 1,200 words on this topic, especially if I'm trying to improve my rankings. This is also where we could go through and talk about those other areas. Like, maybe we have a separate menu item for service areas, and we go into that and we say Deer Park Ranch, or like, if maybe we say Cedar Park, and within that we talk about Deer Park Ranch and these other parts of town, right? So we can tell Google exactly what we want to rank for. So I think there needs to be more content here. I would also, let me pop this over. Is this helpful for you guys? I know some of the people that have been around for a little while, like Mr. Paul Myers, I'm sure this is all like, we know exactly to do this, but maybe for some of the new guys, throw it in the chat. Throw it in the chat if this is helpful for you guys. I'd love to hear this feedback. I'm just going to take, it looks like this is built on a .dot site, which I've never, I try not to deviate myself from like .com, or from, sometimes I'll do a .org if I can't find a good domain. I'm not a I guess I would probably myself, I'd probably avoid the .site. So we can look at his backlink profile here, right? So if we go in and we look at these backlinks, we can see that he's got another link from a plumber, but it's from a pretty weak site. I'm not quite sure what this thing is. Some French Canadian 10 plumbers. We're in some directories. I think there's a ton of opportunity to improve the backlink profile. This is a pretty low number 4, right? If we do this, this can positively influence the Google My Business ranking by improving the website, right? Not only the content, but the links that we're going after. So if we look at, this is what we're ranking for right now, and this is the position, right? So he doesn't have anything in the top 10 organically, which, hey, there's additional leads hiding in here. If we could build out this website a little bit better, and if we want to, we can actually. I just want to comment on this link structure here. Since we have Cedar Park in the domain name, I would never put it in. I wouldn't do this. I know this maybe this used to work like 3 or 5 years ago, but we don't want to over optimize. I think having it here, water heater replacement, water heater repair replacement, that maybe is a little long for the URL. I would probably have water heater replacement as the page name, and I would not have this be a part of this because this is already in the URL structure over here, and this can start to be like over optimized. But nonetheless, I'm going to grab this. I'm going to come over here and let's look to see what we have. This page is not ranking for anything. I would bet there's no backlinks here. This is how we can beef some of this stuff up, right? Additionally, if you are taking advantage of a wonderful software like this one here, LeadSnap, we can go in and we can make posts. We can add photos about water heaters. We can, so if we go and look at, I think this one, within here, when we're logged in, we have the ability to come in and actually schedule post, right? So if I were to go in here and I were to say like, hey, we have a special running on, I'm going to create a new post. We have a special running on water heater replacement in the Cedar Park area. If you are living near like Deer Park Ranch or whatever that is that we wanted to try to target, whatever that, can't remember, what was it called? Deer Ranch or something? Can't remember. I think it was down here somewhere. Whatever, we could pick out whatever we want and target that. We can put that as a part of the post, and we could make this post once if we want to. We could say, hey, I want this post to repeat once a week forever. And what will happen is it will schedule this post, and then when the new one comes, it will delete the old one and put the new one on here, and then it will always have that kind of like fresh post. We can also add in photos, right? I could come through here and I could add in a bunch of photos. I don't know if you guys have seen this before. Let me give me 1 second here. Hold on. Stand by. You guys liking this? Let me see it in the chat. I see awesome. Sometimes it can be hard. I would add citations too. Yeah, Greg. Citations would absolutely help his ranking. Hold on 1 second, guys. All right. I'm trying to find some photos here to show you guys how this works because this is super cool. All right, we'll do this. So I'm going to take these photos here. I'm going to drop these in here. Okay. So we're adding in a bunch of photos. So I've added these photos. I'm going to click on next. So now I have all these photos in here. And if I want to, I could say, hey, I'm going to set these all to be this exterior photo category. And where were we working? We're in Cedar Creek. So I'll put in Cedar Creek, Texas, right? And it's going to move this over here. That is not where Cedar Creek is. I guess it found Cedar Park. I'm sorry. Cedar Park up here, right? So I can actually, I'm changing the metadata of this photo in real time. So if I find this like Deer Park Ranch or whatever it is that I wanted to improve my ranking, and I could just drop this photo, we'll pretend that it's right here. So that's the coordinates of that. So now it's been tagged to that location. And I could go over here and I could say, you know what, maybe I've uploaded like 25 photos. And what I want to do is I'm going to add 2 photos every 5 days. So I'll click on schedule and you'll see that we've got the first 2 photos are going today. And then the next 2 are 5 days later. So that way we can show activity on this Google My Business over time. right? We can go through and look at the citations and find out where do we have the strong citations. How do we do that? Let's look at this real quick. If I take this phone number, this 512 right here, I'm just going to grab this. And what was the name from the GMB? Cedar Park Plumbers. Okay, so I'm just going to do a search, Cedar Park Plumbers. And then I'm going to put the plus. So basically, when I put it in quotes like this, it's saying return stuff that you find that looks exactly like that. And then I'm going to paste this in here with the phone number. So now it's going to return both of these. And this is going to tell us a lot of our citations, right? So we can see there's only 10 results. 2 of these are these Google Ads things. Did I do something wrong there? So strange. And then we've got Facebook, and these are on his actual website, and we've got only a couple citations on these other places. So let's get a Yelp set up. Let's get like all these different main citations. Yellow Book, is that what it's called? Can't remember. I don't know why that's hard to remember right now. Yellow Book, Yellow Pages, yeah, Yellow Pages, and like Crunchbase and all these different things. Like you can actually, if you're interested, you can order citations through LeadSnap. It's the person from our agency that builds out the agency, the citations that we use in our agency goes through and does these. So we go through and manually do them to make sure that they're actually submitted. So those are some ranking ideas. I told Jeff I was going to stay on here for 20 minutes. We're at 55 minutes. So if I don't see any questions in here, Paul Myers, amazing content. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you, man. You always make me feel good about myself. I'd love to grab lunch with you while you're in Florida, even if you can't come to the event, or maybe you can come on Sunday, full party, show us some of your dance moves. I'd love to see that. Awesome. All right, cool. Anybody else have any questions?
I do have a question.
Edwin, what do you got, man?
Okay, I heard some other people that have some other groups, and I wanted to run it by you. Maybe you can clarify. So they were claiming that the website doesn't have much of a factor influence in the ranking of the GMBs like it used to be like a year or 2 years ago. That they were saying that they don't pay much attention to the website. They just have it there, but they focus more on the GMB, like pictures, CTR, the reviews, and they even claim that posting it doesn't help the rankings anymore. So how much of that is in your experience? So they say that they don't spend money in backlinks, and it is just the GMB. So do you have any data on that you can kind of give us?
So I'll tell you, we have about 400 sites in our agency and 2,500 Google My Businesses. We've done a lot of testing. I think that maybe some of this is true to some extent, where like posts and the website connection have been somewhat devalued. But I think it kind of goes like this, where Google is like playing with things more and more. I think that the way that it's happening now, it's going back up. I think the value is increasing again. I think that even if, let's pretend that the value of, we'll use you as an example. Edwin, let's just assume, just hypothetically, that there's 0% impacts on the website and the Google My Business, right? But I'll also tell you at the same time, 20% of your leads, or 15 to 20% of your leads, are going to come through organic, not through the Google My Business. Do you want to abandon those 15 to 20% when you're getting 50% of those jobs? No, you don't.
No.
I'm not talking to you, Siri. So if that right there tells you that you should do it. Now, it is my opinion, and I've seen this time and time again. When we have a strong ranking website, our ability to rank a Google My Business that's attached to it is higher than it is when we don't have that website. I see it all the time. Like our rankings just seem to shoot up higher. Google loves itself and it loves activity. To say that like posting doesn't matter, like it takes up more screen. I think it would, at the very least, increase your click-through rate, right? Mm-hmm. I also think that Google is processing all this different information from all over the place. It's processing the reviews. It's processing your website. It's processing the description, all these different things, the questions, the answers, and it's using all this stuff, and it's saying, let me make the best decision I can. So if you had infinite ability to process information and make associations do you think it would make sense to just be like, hey, I'm going to ignore this part that I've invested and built this out and I encourage people to use. I'm not going to factor this in at all. I'm not going to pay any attention to this. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense to me. So we do the posting and we see results with it. We basically, what I tell you is big pieces of our playbook of how we do it, right? Obviously these calls are an hour long. It's hard to like go into the hood. I'm trying to move fast to get the broad strokes of this, but that's my opinion. And this just comes from, you know, my first job was in 2021 in SEO, and I haven't stayed with that the whole time. But over the last like 6 or 7 years, I personally don't know a lot of people that are managing or starting more Google My Businesses. And, you know, we've done this with success, bringing in a lot of leads, but SEO is a game of like partial information, and
Did you
everyone's
mean
going to have their opinion.
2011? Did you mean
What's that?
2011? Did you mean 2011 or 2021?
What's that? I don't even know what I said.
Your first job in SEO was in
One.
2021, you said.
2001. My first job out of
2001.
college was in SEO. Yeah, so that was 23 years ago ish. So did that. I've kind of like paid attention to a lot, but really, you know, gone hard in the paint over the last like 7 years in this industry. And there's been a lot of changes, and I've just noticed patterns in how Google processes things, and like they seem to love themselves. Like, have you guys ever seen this before? Throw this in the chat if you've seen this, where it's like, it's a Google business site and it's connected to a GMB. And for some reason that GMB is ranking really well, even though they don't have a lot of reviews, but they've got this like cheeseball Google business site. And like, why? It seems like Google's favoring the Google business site sometimes, right? So that pattern just seems to exist everywhere. Whenever Google gives you an option to do something, to show activity, do that option and things seem to get better. Yeah. So I'm seeing it from Janeri. I know we've seen it a bunch in our agency. So that's my opinion. Like I said, though, like, SEO is a game of like disinformation. Like they tell us some things, Google tells us things that we know aren't true. They've said it a bunch of times that like the keyword in the domain name doesn't really matter, but then clearly it does. Like we see that. So, and then SEOs have their own crackpot theories on different things. You know, it's just like when I was at the poker table a lot of the time, like I remember this guy, Super Bowl time, these like crackpot theories come out in droves, where it's like, this guy's sure that there's a conspiracy and that whatever football team is on the front of the USA Today more prominently is the team that wins the Super Bowl. He said it's happened 10 years in a row. It's like they've got their theories. That's how SEO is too. This is a game of incomplete information, and we all have to make our assumptions and our best guesses on things. Don't take that as betting advice for the Super Bowl in a couple weeks. All right, guys.
Thank you.
All right. I wish you all
Thank you.
a great week, a great weekend. If anybody's on the fence about joining us for events, we'd love to have you guys. Like I said, we've set up some payment plans for people to try to make it more possible for those that are just getting started. Yeah, I saw that too. Lincoln, Google is going to be turning off the business profile websites. Yeah. So if you guys are relying on those, or you have, maybe it could be a good prospecting method too. If you see a business that has one of those and be like, hey, Google's going to shut this down, let me build you a website. Maybe that could be a good way to come in. Yeah. So, all right, guys, you guys have an amazing week. Appreciate all of you guys. Go get some wins. We'll see you. I'm not sure if we'll be here next Wednesday, just a heads up. I guess we'll put that out. Maybe we can do a live.
We'll do a live. Yeah, we'll do a live from the.
We'll do a live from the mansion with the Rank Masters people on the Wednesday session that we have. Okay, guys, have an awesome week. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Take care.